Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to show you how to do MIDI and audio recording with different options as well inside Logic Pro for iPad. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, let's click on Create Project and let's select Tracks. Okay, so let's choose a MIDI template and we set it to have a default patch and we click on Create. And there it is, we have a MIDI track for which, of course, if I activate the play surface, we can play that default electric piano. While I'm here, I'm going to click on the plus sign again and I'm going to Audio Track, click on the three dots, ensure that the default audio patch is selected and click Create. So I have an audio track. Okay, let's activate the MIDI track. Before we start the recording, I wanted to show you a little bit of a configuration that you might find useful here on the control bar. Click on the three dots and then go to Customize Control Bar. Under Transport, you have Capture Recording, which normally is disabled. It's this symbol here, which just disappeared. I recommend that you have that activated. And then also under modes, I recommend that you have the replace mode active. Again, it's not always active, and you can see here before the counting that it becomes available. Okay, so I recommend that you have those two actually on. Let's start with capturing, which is really nice. So if nothing is being recorded and you're playing on the surface or your external MIDI controller, you can actually capture your idea. You go back here, click Capture, and it has captured your ideas. Really nice. And of course, you can delete that and keep going like that. I should have said that before you actually start to play a MIDI track, it is recommended that you check the MIDI input. So there are two ways you can do that. You can click on the inspector here. Ensure that you are at track level here, because you can also be a region default or region if you have already a region created here. Make sure you are on track level and then you scroll down and let's get more space here. And beside the normal options like name, color, icon and the default regions, you also have a MIDI input port. You click on there, you can choose your MIDI input port. And if you click on Bluetooth MIDI device, it will move you to the selection of the MIDI devices and you click close and you find yourself in the app settings here with the MIDI option selected. Okay, you can reach the same option going on the three dots up here, select settings, ensure you are on app settings, select MIDI in here, and then here under input and output you can choose Bluetooth MIDI devices and then additionally activate the different ports. Okay. Going back here to the inspector for the MIDI track, you find alongside the MIDI input port, also the MIDI input channel, which you can change, and also the MIDI output channel, which will go towards the instrument, which is selected in Logic Pro. The MIDI input channel, it's really great because it allows you to, of course, for example, configure to receive events from different MIDI channels. And therefore, if you have, for example, an external MIDI controller which have zones and each zone is configured to send in different MIDI channels, then you can configure different MIDI tracks to receive from different MIDI channels and therefore do multi-recording, as I will show you in a moment, just using the play surface on the iPad. If I select the audio track, you have different type of option. What is important when it comes to audio is to select again your audio source, go to the settings and then app setting and click audio. This is where you have the selection under devices of leaving to Logic Pro to select your audio device, which sometimes work and is fine. If you don't like that, deactivate it, then you go for input and output, change it as you like. So in this case, for example, I can change it to the iPad microphone for input, or here is where you will see also your audio interface. Additionally, you can choose the input and output buffer and also the input gain. Now, if you're using an audio interface, you find the software monitoring, this option will be available. If you're not and you're just using your iPad and just your normal microphone, you find that this option is disabled. And normally when you have an audio interface, you also have direct monitoring in that audio interface, so you might not need to use this. However, if you do want, this is where the option is. Additionally, you can go here on the track header, click on the three dots, customize your track header. And this is where you can bring in the input monitor option, which is this high here. And if I activate it, you will start to hear the monitor coming through my microphone. Hello, hello. Okay, that is how it works. If you don't find this option here, it is because under the settings here, under audio, you will find under general, the software monitoring will be disabled. Okay. So now let's try to record something on the audio track. Okay. So we just go and click record. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's stop. Let's play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And that is my audio recording. You will notice also that here you have counting, which of course you can disable. You also have a metronome, which you can activate. And if you click and hold on the metronome, you find different option, of course, for your metronome in terms of when it is active, i.e. active when it is recording, also while it's playing. Okay, right. So let's delete these audio track. The other thing you can do also is to record both at the same time. So you can record a Midi track and also an audio track. The way you do that, you arm both for recording. Click on the R here, click on the R here. And you find as soon as I click on the R here, the monitor is active. So let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, let's disable monitor. As you can see, I've recorded both tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's really, really handy. The other thing I wanted to show you is just to be, a little bit more detailed and accurate. You find these are for a recording on the active track that is already in red, the letter, and that means that if you press the red button, that is where it will start the recording. Okay, now let's get rid of the audio track for now, as I don't think we need it for what I'm going to show you next. Okay, so let's say that I want to replace from this position here what is being recorded. So I click on replace button here and then I click record. Okay, let's stop, and you can see it has split that region into two and is done and then replaced from where the playset was with a different recording. Really nice. Again, let's click and hold, activate those two regions, click again, and delete to delete both regions. Now let's duplicate these MIDI track. Now we have two tracks. You can record them at the same time as well, so arm them both and click record. Now this might not be really great because you have practically two regions which are the same, and you have both instruments which are also the same. But let me show you where this becomes really more interesting. So let's delete those two regions. Let's activate the second track. Let's go to the browser. Let's go to instrument patches and let's select bass and let's click, hold, drag and drop onto the second track, and we have a bass there. Okay. So let's go up an octave to 0. So it says C2 there. Okay. And if we go back to the first track, this is where you have your electric piano. Now, let me open the inspector on the first track. Let's ensure that you are at track level here. So you have track and region. Sometimes you also have the region only if you have one created as well. So scroll down where it says more, expanded it, click on it, and then you find key limit. Now let's set the lower key limit to be C3. Let's click outside. If I press below C3, it doesn't play. Okay, now let's activate the second MIDI track. What I want to do is change the upper limit to B2. If I go to B, it doesn't allow me to go there because of the octave. So change these to 2, like so. and now change these to B2. Okay, so above B2, it doesn't play. Below, I have a bass. Now, if you select both tracks, for example, like so, and then you click play, it still plays the track which is selected. So the way to play both tracks is to activate them both for recording, like so. Really nice. I have created a split, and you can go even more complicated than that because you can change lower and upper key limit. So let's record something. Okay, let's stop and let's play. Now, what you see is that it has recorded both, of course, equally in terms of region, because they were both receiving from the same keyboard. However, I'm going to show you in one of the next tutorial how to connect it to an external MIDI controller which sends multiple zones, and you will see that the recording will happen only for the bass on this second region and only for the electric piano on the first region. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. See you next time. Bye.